adding up in double time. James analyzing every line. Paul's out of sync, but they don't care. Three minds tangled, but they're always there.
The Griswold family Christmas tree.
Isn't it a little big?
It's not big, it's just full.
Dad, that thing wouldn't fit in our yard.
Not going in our yard, Russ. It's going in our living room.
Welcome to the podcast that's brighter than the Griswold's home. Today's episode's all about not the National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I'm Colin. I've usually not seen it. Paul, our editor, has watched it in the wrong order.
And I'm James, and I've written an essay on it.
How do you, James?
I'm alright, mate. It's a bit about the cold at the start of the week there, but slowly but surely getting by it. You maybe hear it in me, actually, so I do apologise for any sneezing and coughing and spluttering that you might hear during this, but I think it'll be okay.
Oh well, hopefully the Christmas spirit will make you feel better. So you can find Seismic Cinema on various social media platforms. We're most active on X, and we've been talking about rebooting our Facebook community page, so keep an eye out for that. You can check out the podcast. YouTube and Spotify have been our main outlets, where you can also see video, but you can also find us on a range of different platforms, which are listed there for our visual learners. We're also part of the Podpack Collective, a group of indie podcasters, so make sure you check them out. And we're also going to give a wee shout out to our friends at What's the Script as well. They've released a couple of new episodes this week. So it was a Happy Gilmore, and then I think Ghostbusters just yesterday as well.
So Happy Gilmore was a good one. And then I've just started listening to the Ghostbusters review. Got to the bit where they started talking about the heroics of the Scotland and, well, not Scotland and, but the Scotland World Cup score. So I think they're quite happy with that, well, to a degree anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Are you happy?
Yeah. I watched some of it. It was right in the middle of putting the kids to bed, so I managed to see the last 2 goals on my phone when I was doing the dishes. So some goals anyway.
Kerry McLean's goals are rasper.
McTominay's like the highest overhead kick ever, or something like that.
McTominay's goal was a cracker. I mean, Tierney's was just meh, wasn't it, really? But McTominay's goal was a good game, so was Kerry McLean's. No
comment on the other ones. So our recent podcast episodes, the last one was our penultimate episode in the Black Mirror series, season 7. It was USS Callister into Infinity. And the movie before that was The Exorcist. And before that, it was Full Metal Jacket. So that was the last few ones that we've done, although Full Metal Jacket actually feels a long time ago, which it probably was. So just before we get into our first festive review of the season, and I'm just conscious of the fact I need to get something up on this wall behind me because it's a bit bare. I need to get something exciting up, podcast related. So James, I know you've not been feeling well this week. I think I saw on What's the Scripts community group that you had checked out a few things this week.
I had mentioned I missed putting my post on their Facebook. So I watched Transformers 1, 2 and 3. I think I said that last week as well. I stuck on Max Payne as well. A wee bit of Mark Wahlberg. Because I did try watch the new Transformers 4 with Mark Wahlberg, and I just wasn't getting it, mate. I just didn't dig it, you know what I mean? So I seen Max Payne back in the cinema back in the day. Stuck it back on then. I also watched... What did I watch? I meant to say, I watched Executive Decision, Kurt Russell, on Netflix. I also watched Christmas Vacation for the podcast. And what else did I watch? I can't remember now, to be honest with you. He's just mush at the minute. Aye.
Well, I've been watching. So Dexter's still my main one. I'm probably about midway through season 3 now, and
How you
I'll
finding
keep,
season 3 just now? Just kind of general before we went
I'm
to the new
warm.
one.
I'm warming to it a wee bit. I feel like it's a wee bit slower to get going than the first 2 seasons. Because
Right.
obviously, right now it's all about the. Well, I'm not going to give any spoilers. For Dexter, for those who haven't watched it, I'm warming to it. I'm not enjoying it as much as season. It's probably my least favorite season so far, but
Oh, yeah.
I do know that Dexter does tend to step up in the latter half of the season, so I'll keep going with it. I'm invested enough in the character and his world to keep going with it.
Aye. You stick with it, mate.
So I've been
That's good,
watching
mate.
that. Yeah, I've been watching a few things, a few Star Wars things actually, just kind of for casual viewing. Watched Rogue One, which I always enjoy, and I've been watching the Obi-Wan series as well. I've started watching. I've mentioned it before in my episode, my TV show ranking. The second season of Man on the Inside has came out. You know, the Ted Danson series I've mentioned before.
Maybe you've mentioned that.
The second season of that's just came out, so I'm going to watch that. Also watched a couple of movies this week. I've actually been fairly active this week. I watched Companion. Have you heard of that? It's one with the AI. The guy's got the AI girlfriend, and then she's they kind of mess about with her settings, and she starts to go on a killing spree. It was in the cinema not too long ago.
No,
It's
I've seen it,
the
mate.
guy. It's the guy from The Boys that's in it.
Oh, aye. Is it the...
young guy?
Oh, his name Quaid?
Yeah.
The nephew of the guy that's in this film, actually. I can't think of it. Hugh, what's his name? Yeah, his name's Hugh in The Boys, but I can't remember his actual... Somebody Quaid. It's Dennis Quaid's boy, anyway.
Yeah, he's in that. It was quite good. I think you quite enjoy it, actually. It's all about the kind of moralities of AI and things like that as well.
Cool.
And just jumping on the bandwagon because I've never seen it, and obviously the sequel was out this week. I was watching the first Wicked movie, which I hadn't seen before.
All right. I've not seen it either, mate.
Well, I've always quite liked the kind of Wizard of Oz movie, and I've seen Wicked at the theatre actually. So I just wanted to see what the fuss was about, just for a bit of light-hearted viewing, you know.
Can I add, by the way, I forgot to say, but I watched Commando as well. It was on Netflix. Not with
Right.
Disney, it's one actually. What a film that is, man. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love it.
There you go. You like your Arnold. Did you go see? Are you interested in the Running Man sequel? Or not sequel, reboot?
I will not take part in this. The same way I will not take part in the Total Recall reboot, man. Not having it.
Even though it's Edgar Wright?
Even though it's Edgar Wright, mate, I've got a lot of time for him, mate, as you know what I mean. But it's just I've got my my stance on it. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not going to go and see it. Boycotting it.
Fair. I've heard mixed things anyway. So, right, we'll get on to the review. So the synopsis for this movie is: the Griswold family's plans for a big family Christmas predictably turn into a big disaster. And I would say that quite nicely sums up the movie. I've also got a few taglines that I found. Now you've survived the holidays, you deserve a vacation, which I thought that one was quite good. I also like this one. You'll crack up, like the pun, which was quite good. I thought. A wee bit of background in the movie. Released in 1989. I was -2 years old, and you were probably about 3 or 4.
I was 4.
4. I take it you didn't see this one in the cinema when it first came out.
Nah, I did not.
No. The runtime is the run hour is 1 hour 37 minutes, and I totally didn't pick this one because it was the shortest of the 3 options.
I thought you picked it because it was on TV.
No, there were. I see when I pick my movie suggestions, I only pick ones that I'll be able to watch.
Aye, so it's a new TV shot for you.
It was on Now TV. That's right.
So
I love
I
my.
had to, I couldn't find it, mate. So I had to go up to the attic and unlock the golden chest of Christmas films, mate, in the DVD cabinet. You know what I mean? So,
Was that up there?
Let's just say that I found it somewhere, mate.
Yeah. The runtime is 1 hour 37 minutes. The director is Jeremiah Chechik. Probably butchered that. The writer was John Hughes, and I thought this was quite interesting that he was also the person who wrote the story for Home Alone.
Yeah, done the Breakfast Club and that as well, didn't he? He did loads of films in the 80s, man.
Breakfast Club is one that's been on my list for a long time. It's actually on Now TV, so I should. We're not sponsored by Now TV, by the way, just in case people are wondering. It was interesting because there's also a tie-in with Chris Columbus, who obviously directs Home Alone, because he was originally meant to be the director for this film, but it's a bit of a recurring trend. He couldn't work with Chevy Chase, who I first encountered really, which was a bit backwards, but when I watched Community, because he was one of the main cast on that, and there was a lot of talk when I was watching that show that he was difficult to work with in his later years, never mind when he was younger.
I haven't seen the show Community, mate, but
you'd love it. You'd love it, by the way. Highly recommend.
A few things that is quite hard to work with and things like that. So, but I don't know.
PK's watched Community as well. We would both highly recommend it. The budget was 25 million and the box office was 73.3 million, so it kind of trebled its budget, which was quite good. It's got 72% on Rotten Tomatoes, 7.5 on IMDb. I'm going to add Amazon in here as well because I just saw it. 4.8 out of 5, and Letterboxd gives it 3.5 out of 5. So overall, pretty positive scores on the whole. I'm not going to go into the huge the huge cast, but obviously Chevy Chase plays Clark Griswold, Beverly D'Angelo plays Ellen, his wife, Julielle, can't read my writing, Lewis, can't read my writing, Juliet plays Audrey, which is the daughter, and Johnny Galecki plays Russell, which was a mind-blowing revelation for me when I was looking at the Wikipedia after watching.
See, I knew that, and so I remember like watching it again in later years, and then seeing that, I was like, that's Leonard for Big Bang Theory, man. Do you know what I mean? So, I obviously knew about it before. Obviously, I watched it last night and stuff. You know what I mean? So, you forget these things, but
he doesn't really look that much like him. Like, I've seen some pictures on the internet where they've put like the adult version of him side by side, and there's like similar facial expressions, but it's not one you would catch, is it?
No, it takes a while, Hank, mate, to be honest with you, but that's what happens with you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's right. So just before we get into the kind of main kind of breakdown of the film, was there any particular trivia that you found for this one?
Sure, mate, sure. I won't go into a lot yet, but things I picked up was the squirrel scene was originally supposed to feature a live trained squirrel, but the squirrel died the very morning the scene was to be shot, and the entire sequence was reblocked in a few hours. We've got Todd and Margot see the neighbours. So the house they had there was the house they used for later on for the Lethal Weapon films. So it was Murtaugh's house. Randy Quaid, who is Cousin Eddie, he based his mannerisms on someone he knew in real life. And this is, I did wonder this scene, mate, for yourself, mate, because I wondered how's he going to feel about it. The cat scene when it got electrocuted was so controversial that the studio wanted to cut it. The filmmakers argued that it was so obviously cartoonish and it should stay.
Do you want my take on it right now, or
no? We'll get it later on, mate, as it comes.
Okay.
Other ones, there's a lot of kind of ad-lib. So basically, Chevy Chase and that did a couple of ad-libs during the rant section. We talked about Hallelujah. holy shit, and he just kind of goes off and adds profanities and stuff like that. And the cast at that point in time when he was doing that found it hard to kind of keep a straight face because it was mostly ad-libbed. One that I didn't catch at the time, mate, was when they're reading the magazine in bed after the SAP incident. The People magazine has a front cover. It's a picture of the Griswold family themselves, and it was a joke from the props department. So I didn't actually catch that. So I found that. And then I think you might touch on this one, but I'll got a wee bit here anyway. The film is based on John Hughes' short story Christmas '59, which was published in the National Lampoon magazine. So, like you kind of said off camera, where did the National Lampoon came from? Well, I think it came from this bit here. And that's me, mate.
Cool. Just see if there's any other ones I wanted to mention. So the term Griswold House has become part of American slang to describe a house that's overly decorated. Do you know anyone that really goes for it at this time of year?
Nah, not really, mate. No, I mean, there's nothing about here doing my mask eyes. Not I mean, I don't think so. About yourself, does the ring go mental for it?
Some houses, because you get ones here that go mental for Halloween as well. I just want to share one example from my childhood, which looking back, I'm like, I don't know how my mum allowed this. We had a huge Homer Simpson dressed as Santa Claus that was like blown up and was like outside the front of the house. And when I look back, I'm like, how did they okay that? But it must have just been for me, because obviously I was a big Simpsons fan growing up. But just picture just a massive Homer Simpson in a front garden, which I thought was funny.
Things to do for you.
I know. Just see what else. Yeah, you touched on the kind of magazine idea. I think we've probably covered a lot of them, to be honest. So when he's in the attic scene,
Aye.
he finds a home movie that's called Christmas '59, which also links into the magazine that you're talking about.
That's right, aye.
You talked about the magazine. Yeah, obviously we're always kind of shopping in the right places anyway. So before we get into the actual kind of plot of the film, was there any kind of quotes you highlighted? Because one takeaway I've got from watching it and then looking at the most famous quotes, that it does have a lot of great quotes to look back on. Was there anything that stood out for you?
Well, I think Cousin Eddie had a lot of great lines, mate, as well.
Yeah.
And, when it kind of comes to mind was as I'm sure people will talk through it or some will come back to me more, but the one where he goes, "Oh, I've just seen a sort of news report or something on the TV. It's like a pilot scene, Santa Claus's sleigh in the sky or something like that." Because then he goes, "Are you serious? Are you serious?" Like, yeah. It was the way he delivered it though. It was as if he believes him. Do you know what I mean? It was good that way.
He was a good. He's a good character. There's the other one when they're at the table and they ask the kind of oldest relative to say grace. And she's like, Grace, she passed away 30 years ago.
Passed away 30 years ago. And she starts hitting it with, "I pledge allegiance to the flag." So it's like
that whole bit was funny. And then there's the bit where, spoilers, Clark gets his Christmas bonus, which is the Jelly of the Month Club membership. And Eddie says, "That's the gift that keeps on giving the whole year." To see what other ones there were. Oh, this one was quite good as well. It was talking about how Francis said, like, you've wasted loads of like resources on these Christmas decorations. And then somebody says, he worked really hard. And one of the characters said, "So do washing machines." Which is a fair point. The washing machines are the MVP. This is a good one as well. When they say that Eddie used to eat squirrels. And he says, no, he read that recently that squirrels are high in cholesterol. That's a hard word to say. But yeah, he comes out with some good ones. I've got a funny feeling this is a drink that you like. Something about like, how did you get through the holidays when Clark was a kid? It was like I had a lot of help from Jack Daniels.
That was funny.
There's obviously more, but I'll stop there. But there was it's highly quotable, I would say, is a way to describe this one.
No, it is very quotable. Even though I can't really remember much of the lines right now, so I'm just kind of you caught me off guard there, mate, with the whole quotes segment. So
no, I just happened to see when I was looking at the trivia. I just happened to look at the some of the quotes as well.
The bit where I know we'll go into it, but the dog's under the table as well.
Uh-huh.
And you can just hear it like it's growling, it's all that sort of stuff, and its stomach's gone and things like that. And he goes, "Oh, well, you shouldn't be feeding them under the table." And he goes, "No, I don't. It's just polite the trash." And then the camera cuts to the bin, the trash can, and it's all the rubbish is on the floor. Do you know what I mean? So it was a good bit too.
Just chaos, wasn't it? Right, so we'll go at the start of the film. The film starts with the road trip to get the Christmas tree, and I feel like you get the humor of the film just in that very first scene because they're talking about, Clark's talking about what they're going to get something really important, and the daughter is saying like basically, is that another dodgy tie? And he's like, nah, I've got one of those at home. And I think right away, because obviously I hadn't seen this film before, shock horror, it's not a film to take too seriously, and I think that's important.
It's a lot of kind of slapstick.
Yeah.
With inside it, you know what I mean? Like every kind of scene is always because obviously there's a very kind of serious tone to the film, really, like in terms of the themes behind it and all that sort of stuff. But it's done in such kind of slapstick sequences that we laugh at it rather than take it seriously. But it's still important to take the tone from the film. Do you know what I mean? Like the theme of it. It's serious.
So they locate the tree, and it's like a big, massive thing. And the immediate thought is, how are they going to fit that in the living room? And then I was like, well, maybe they'll put that in the garden. But the characters themselves allude to that, and they're basically saying that their garden's not even big enough for it. So you then get the quite comical scene where they strap it to the top of the car, and then they're driving home with it.
Aye. Before that though, just whatever touch on it, the driving scene where they get the truck driver behind them, and it's like they're racing each other type of thing. Oh, I can't let them get away with that, and like that's true because I mean people do that to you. Well, me in the road, it annoys me. Then I'll try to overtake them again. Do you know what I mean, and all that sort of stuff. But this bit was funnier because they had the truck, the lorry was kind of carrying the trees.
Mm-hmm.
And then as he manoeuvred into to overtake, he actually stuck in that kind of between the wheels of the lorry. So that was quite funny too. But I getting to the tree scene and then realising what did they use to cut it down? They didn't think that far ahead. Do you know what I mean? It was just excitement of getting to there and how do we actually cut down the tree? Yeah, it was funny.
I know. And you're immediately thinking, aren't you, how they're going to make this work? But then he ultimately just like crams it in as well as he could, and it's going right up towards the ceiling. But the tree becomes a big centerpiece of the movie, doesn't it? Because it leads to a lot of the hijinks later on.
As the centerpiece, mate, into a lot of stuff that happens surrounding the tree. It's a big kind of a massive symbol in the film. Yeah,
and I think I am gonna miss things here, so feel free to jump in because I feel like this is one of those films that's just a bag of chaos, isn't it? I think that's the intent. It's just meant to kind of highlight that Christmas period and how busy and stressful it can be.
It does highlight everything. It highlights consumerism. It highlights stresses. It highlights financial burdens. It does, mate. It just highlights it all, but in a way that you maybe don't kind of realise it until you later on in the film and see kind of wee bits and bobs that actually, because his bonus, his
Yeah.
big bonus is a massive thing, because he does realise he can't afford Christmas and that stuff, but he's working towards a bonus. Do you know what I mean? So, but if you do miss something, mate, I'll cut in. Mate. Don't worry about that.
Because it's definitely a big theme, as you said. It's the reliance. Because, like, I think when we think about bonuses, it's not something that we get in our jobs, but you think of it in modern society as more of like an add-on or a target to meet if you think of footballers getting a certain number of goals. But the way that they talk about it here is that it's such a core part of the salary. Essentially, it's more like an expectation rather than something you would strive towards. And it seems that this family, along with lots of others, are relying on it for their kind of base income.
Yep, and it's kind of highlighted in the office and stuff as well. And interestingly enough, he's drinking coffee or tea or whatever out of a mug in the office, and it's a Tasmanian devil mug.
That's really sets the era, doesn't it?
So that kind of foreshadows him later on getting off his nut, as Tasmanian devil would do. You do the Tasmanian devil noises, mate?
No, but I used to play at my friend's house when I was younger. The game on the N64.
Aye,
Which was a belter.
Aye, he just go mental.
I'd rather do Sylvester.
Aye, what was that called again? That show, it was the
Looney Tunes.
Looney Tunes Animaniac or something like that as well. Was it? No, was it something similar?
I'm not sure, but the Tasmanian Devil is an iconic remnant of the 90s. Must be the 80s as well.
Well, he had that cup. It kind of foreshadowed his kind of he was going to go crazy at some point down the line. But it was a massive focus on the paycheck, mate, on the bonus anyway, because they do rely on it, especially when they had it every single year. So he was using that, and he had these visions on what to do with it and things, build a swimming pool, and for him it was about keeping the family together and having fun times at his house and stuff, and that was all he kind of really wanted. But that obviously surrounded by or needing money for that to happen. And you're right, mate, you don't get bonuses like that the way that other folk do, and if you start to rely on it, then you don't get it. They're certainly going to miss it. Do you know what I mean? So we can feel for the family that way. Can I feel for his kind of his mindset, and that he's working towards something that he's because he was getting stressed out because he didn't know if he was going to get it or not, because he had no word of it. And the folk were saying that they got theirs and he didn't get his, and what was he working towards? You know what I mean, but it was just about to keep his family really, and he just took that kind of financial bit at the end, kind of it'll come when it comes type thing.
It was an interesting purchase because if you were particularly strapped for, like, I know if I was struggling financially, I don't think putting a swimming pool in my garden would be top of my priority list. Like, it's quite an extravagant want for the circumstances.
I know, but he's got these visions, isn't he? Like a swimming pool's going to bring the family together and things, and we kind of seen in the Loft scene some later on that family is his number one kind of priority into it. So keep them happy and things, and that's his goal. But there's other things you can spend it on without a doubt. But for him, that's what he wants. So why not spend it on that? You know what I mean? It's up to him.
I know I always end up bringing this back to The Simpsons, but it strongly reminded me of the very first Simpsons episode. You know, the one where Homer gets the dog because he gets the job at the racetrack. I know, as a mall Santa.
I can't remember, mate. I can't remember the first episode.
It's the very first episode of The Simpsons. Homer doesn't get his Christmas bonus, and then he takes on the job as a mall Santa to pay for Christmas. And that's when they eventually adopt Santa's Little Helper at the racetrack. I just felt like this film reminded me of that in some ways.
I see.
So we've painted him as I think in a lot of ways he is a good family man. Like, he's well intentioned. He wants to bring like joy and happiness and camaraderie to the family. He's not he's not a perfect human being though, as exemplified with his obsession with the girl at the shop.
Aye, I mean, obviously, was he looking at lingerie or something like that, wasn't he? And I actually quite liked the way the scene played out because they could have done it in a way that it was sleazy, and it wasn't. It was very kind of slapstick, comedic kind of thing. It was he was getting his words mixed up and things, and it was never it didn't come across sleazy. And when the boy came over, it's a boy called Russ, isn't it? Russ.
Yeah.
He's like, obviously he sees him talking to her and that, and he's obviously telling her. Did they tell her that he's divorced or something like that, or widowed? I can't remember exactly the
No,
term he used.
I think he started off by saying like he wasn't married, and then it kind of he just kept changing the story, and I think he said his wife was no longer with him.
Right.
I can't remember. He either said they were divorced or that she died. I can't remember what they said.
I think he maybe changed the story. I don't remember, but aye. Listen, at the end of the day, I mean, it could have went one way or the other, and it was done in such a way that it was very funny because he was laughing during it as well because he couldn't anything he was saying, it was coming out wrong anyway, and he made references to like nipples and other sorts of stuff. Do you know what I mean? It was I found it funny. I take it you didn't then? No, you didn't think it was funny?
No, I didn't. I did not find it funny, but it does make you feel for the wife a wee bit because she seemed like, although he causes absolute chaos, she seems to stick by him, doesn't she? And she doesn't really tend to get annoyed at him or anything.
So I'm starting to think you've seen a different version from me. I don't know. See that shopping centre bit? Was the boy not there?
Nah, the boy shows up right at the end.
Just the way you described it as if the wife did. I don't remember.
No. I just mean in general, the fact he's flirting with the girl in the shop, it makes you feel a wee bit bad for his wife because his wife throughout the film is very like chilled out with him, despite all the chaos he brings.
Was he getting a discount on the stuff? But was that the idea behind it? I don't remember. I don't know because it didn't show you him buying it or anything either, did it?
Yeah, that scene was just a wee bit kind of separate. She does come back up later though when he's looking out the window fantasizing about the swimming pool, and then he's interrupted by his niece.
Aye. I actually thought it was a PG, and then I looked it up this morning.
Aye.
And it was a 12A. And I was
maybe not one for me to watch for the kids.
You can see why. It's a 12A. That dream sequence there, and then there's a couple of sweary words at the end when he goes off his head.
Yeah. Right, so we'll get to that bit. So the next kind of segment is all about the decoration of the tree and the house, and he just goes absolutely overboard. Just lights absolutely everywhere, just basically taking up probably the whole city's supply at the same time. You also get introduced to the neighbors quite early on as well.
Aye.
Because they have a wee war of words outside, and it's setting them up as the antagonists, but they come back again and again with hilarious consequences.
Is one of the neighbours, the woman, she's in Seinfeld, so she is. She's Elaine in Seinfeld, so I recognised her as well. I don't know who the guy was, or maybe he's probably in something as well, but they're just kind of snobby people, aren't they, really? It kind of represents the kind of snobbery versus kind of like kind of normal people, if you want to call it that.
I don't know. It's like I felt quite sorry for them in a lot of ways. Like you can't be an easy person to live beside.
No, and I did like the scene because as we're introduced to them, we've got what's his name, Clark coming out in the Jason Jason mask
Yeah,
with the chainsaw. That's funny.
yeah.
Cutting down the tree.
Nah, but they suffer a lot of consequences as the film goes on.
Aye, that's true. That's very true.
So he gets it all hooked up, and he gathers. By this point, like his parents, his wife's parents, there's a whole whack of them, isn't there? You don't really get to know them all that well, but there's various parents and aunties and cousins there that and more join throughout the film as well. But he gathers them all out the front for this big show, and my wife was watching it with me, and she's like, it's not going to work." And it's sorry to bring it back to The Simpsons again. This will be the last one, but Homer does a very similar thing at some point. And then the Simpsons light display is like absolutely horrendous, and the Flanders have this kind of all singing, all dancing performance. I don't know if it's the same episode or a different one. And yeah, it doesn't work, but it just turns out he missed there was like just a switch that had to be flipped in the garage or something.
Aye. The main socket type thing.
But it's his wife that discovers this originally, and but he's outside, isn't he? He just doesn't have a clue what's going on. He's not quite sure why it's not working. But they eventually get it up and running. But it's quite a memorable scene when it all lights up eventually, and you see it from the neighbour's point of view, and the light goes right through their window and blinds them.
That's even before it didn't work. It was quite. There's a touching scene actually, because the granda and the other granda and all that, they're Chris slating him, saying it doesn't work, and not mean he's a failure, blah blah. And the daughter says to them, "Oh, but he worked hard. He worked hard all night." You know what I mean? Like, then she cuddles him and stuff as well to say like, "Oh, it's okay." And then the wife says to him, "Don't stay up too late," because she knows that he's going to be up all night, make sure this is all fixed. Checking every bulb. And there's a scene as well when it failed, when he asks his son, "You did check all the bulbs, didn't you?" And he's like, "Aye, I did, aye." But you could tell by his facial expression that he didn't. Do you know what I mean? Because every single bulb had to be checked in order for it all to work, as you can imagine at Christmas lights, but it used to be anyway. He didn't. And he goes, "Well, we'll go up and do it again and see." And the boy's walking away saying, "Oh, I've got homework to do, I've got this and that to do." And so he's left to do it himself. So that was after the first failure.
He does work hard for his family. There's also a lot of slapstick moments where he's kind of putting the lights up and he's like stapling himself to the roof and all these different kind of things and falling down or almost falling down.
Aye, and the gutter come off as well and came through.
That's the bit, and it freezes and it flies through the window.
It hits the stereo or something like that.
Yeah. And they're arguing about why it's wet. So that's quite a good bit. So yeah, when the lights finally come on, so basically and as I get older, I can relate to this. Because the house is so busy, he's basically doing everything he can to be outside the house and kind of out the way. You see him actively avoiding interaction on quite a few occasions.
Aye, and she asked him, "Are you here to avoid everybody?" Which see, to be honest with you, mate, I hate busy settings. I just hate them. I just like peace and quiet, man.
Yeah.
I'd very gladly just chill in a room myself, or just go outside with a dog or something. You know what I mean? And just kind of evolve it. So I understand that how that would annoy him. You know what I mean?
I think it captured a feeling of claustrophobia and stress quite well, because when I was watching it, I was like, "Nah, I wouldn't be able to handle that amount of people."
No, it's not just that as well, but it's like handling that amount of people, being in that room, and people are just bickering and everything. People are their own people, and all they just moan and they look for faults. Like, I can relate to that all the time. Do you know what I mean? Like, they just look for faults in what you do and whatever you want, and I can just understand that claustrophobia. Yes, you're right what you say there, but the stress of having a perfect Christmas and right now nothing's working for him, so he's doing everything he can to make it perfect. But having that, and ironically, having that inside the house is at the end is the perfect Christmas for him because that's his family, and like, no Christmas is ever perfect. Let's be honest about it. But I think he was just doing he was doing what he can to try and alienate himself for the pressures of having to do all that work, and he didn't want to tell anybody either about the bonus stuff either. Do you know what I mean? People expected that, or, you know what I mean? So he was trying to keep that on the down low because he didn't know himself, but he didn't know it yet.
But in a lot of ways, he has caused his own problems because he put like a big down payment on the swimming pool, didn't he? So he's committing the money before he's even got it.
Aye, and because he got it last year, you know what I mean? So he's expecting it. And that's what we kind of touched on earlier on. Do you know what I mean? It's like people get paid and then they get pay rises. That's what happens. I suppose the Christmas bonus is different, isn't it? Depending on meeting targets and stuff like that. But he made the assumption he's getting one, and you know what happens with people assume.
Make an ass of you and me.
Correct.
I think our equivalent would be waiting for back pay after a pay increase of a bonus.
Aye, potentially. That's right, actually.
So it had a big impact on the household, didn't it? Because people were having to share beds or move out their rooms. Like the brother and sister were having to bunk up, and then there's a funny scene where one of the grandparents is in the boys' room and he's staring at the poster on the ceiling.
Aye. But I actually found that bit funnier for a different reason, mate. I found it funnier for the reason that the old boy was on the top bunk. And it's like, it just reminds me of me and my brother growing up. Like, I'm the oldest, so I'm the top bunk, you know what I mean? So it just kind of put me in that sense. And then obviously, him being the top bunk, he was just
You don't get bunk beds a lot nowadays, do you?
Sorry?
Bunk beds are a wee bit kind of not as popular nowadays.
I don't know, no, I don't know, but certainly
Well, they might be.
when I was growing up, bunk beds were, because me and my brother used to wrestle at them. I mean, like when they go on top of the bunk beds and start doing like somersaults at them and elbow drops at them and stuff like that, man. So brings back a good bit of memories.
So there's already a lot of chaos going on. The lights are up, but the film really gets going when Eddie arrives, doesn't it?
Yeah. Eddie's played by Randy Quaid, who's Dennis Quaid's brother. And I think his most famous role, he's in Kingpin and he's in Independence Day. So he's a guy he's in the fighter jet. And he goes up and goes, "All right, you alien assholes. In the words of my generation, up yours." So I remember him for that one. It's his most famous role, I think. But he's good in this bit because he's got the lights on and he's just chatting away. And then Eddie just appears out of nowhere and he's like, and Chevy Chase is like just talking to him. And he goes, "When did you get here?" So he just integrated quite nicely without making a big introduction at that point. But then he's got his dogs in the van and all that sort of stuff, and his introduction is very subtle. But then when he gets into it, he makes a big impact by the very end of the film. So I think Cousin Eddie was my favourite, mate, to be honest with
you. Yeah. He wasn't expected, was he?
No. He wasn't expected.
Yeah, so he's got two kids, doesn't he? And then he's got the dog as well. And just a few of the things, like the comment about them like used to be eating squirrels, and then there's the bit where he had like a metal plate in his head, but it was replaced with plastic, so he doesn't want to go sledging in case he hurts his head.
Aye, that's right. But the bit where he introduces his wee lassie as well, and the is it the granny? It goes like that. "The last time I seen you, you were cross-eyed. What happened to your eyes?" and he goes, "She fell down the well and she get cross-eyed, and then she get kicked in the head by a mule, and it's back to normal again. What can you do?" You know what I mean? Like,
It's just wild, isn't it? She's a nice girl. She had a nice relationship with Clark as well.
Aye.
Like
It was bringing that kind of Christmas spirit into it as well. The kind of the childlike kind of what Christmas means to people. So there was a divide on the stresses of Christmas, what kids don't see, because
yeah,
we just kind of turn up and things, and we speak from experience. And we never knew the burdens that happened on our parents. Do you know what I mean, growing up and stuff. It's not until we get older to realise how much a burden it actually is. But it just kind of brought that sweetness to Christmas. The wee girl and talking to Clark and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean?
because you always worry like when children find out the reality. I need to be careful what I say here because there's people in the house. But I think the truth is, you just feel gratitude, don't you, for what people did for you? Because like they're releasing this limited edition Buzz Lightyear, I think, with the view to the new Toy Story coming out. It's like a kind of platinum one, and it got me thinking of the one I got when I was a kid. And I was actually talking to my mum about it yesterday. I was like, "How did you even get hold of one?" Because there was a wee clip from the '90s of people trying to get the Buzz Lightyears and things like that. And I think it, as you say, it shows the lengths that people go to do these things.
Absolutely, that brings back memories of me and my dad as well, travelling, on a bus for hours. It felt like to get a Buzz Lightyear. And aye, people will go to extreme lengths to get something. Do you know what I mean? That's obviously depicted in like Jingle All the Way, for example. We did that. We did that film. You know what I mean? But we do feel gratitude. We don't express it at the time, but not do the people expect it to be. I think as obviously when reality hits and things, and you get older to actually appreciate it all, then you start to kind of you're thankful for everything that people do for you. Do you know what I mean?
Because Clark's quite concerned, and his wife shares the concerns that Eddie and his wife won't be able to buy any presents for the kids because they essentially live in an RV, don't they? And they're traveling about, but they obviously Eddie and Clark go to the supermarket or to the shops or wherever it is, but he's like, you're feeling sorry for him, but then all of a sudden he just like whips out a pre-prepared list of what the kids want and like where to buy them and all this kind of stuff. So he was obviously angling for it.
Aye, I know. I mean, yeah, obviously Eddie's got his own kind of things when it comes to like what's important things as well. Do you know what I mean? He's there for the free food and all that as well, but I think like all that sort of stuff. He's a harmless guy, Eddie. You know what I mean? He's just he's in the family. He's harmless, but in really deep down, he means well, doesn't he? He's not got a harmless body upon his body, unless he kidnaps people right enough. But other than that, he's just kind of harmless, isn't he? And he's funny at the same time.
But there's a funny line. It's about how I think Eddie's not had a job in 7 years, and it was the quote was, "He's been holding out for a management position."
Who says that again?
I can't remember who says it, but I just remember it coming up.
Aye.
It's probably his wife that said it. So Eddie causes a lot of chaos. We'll get back to the kind of present buying side of things shortly, but he has toilets blocked essentially in his RV, and he ends up disposing of it down the drain at the front of the house, doesn't he?
Aye. And that's when we get who sees him? Is it Noel Hingate sees him?
Is that the neighbours?
Aye, the neighbours see him do it.
And he's like, "Merry Christmas, folks," or something like that.
What does he say? He puts it into the drain and he's like, the shitter was full or something like that, he says. And he's putting it in the drain.
But what was I going to say? No, it's disappeared. I had a thought there about that, but it's gone.
I'll come back to you.
I'll come back to me. That's right. So yeah, that obviously has its payoff later on. But the kind of stress is mounting, isn't it, about the bonus? Because he's, as you said, he's not really mentioned it, but he's waiting on it happening, and he doesn't. He's thinking that maybe he isn't getting anything, but then the kind of mailman arrives, doesn't he, with a letter?
Was it says to him it was stuck behind the two seats or something like that? He didn't. It was there.
Which shows which kind of mirrors the attitude of his manager, doesn't it? About how much he cares about the bonuses.
Aye.
It's that, what is it, like a year-round pass to some kind of club, isn't it?
Jelly Club.
What's that?
The Jelly Club.
Jelly Club, yeah. Which doesn't actually sound that bad. Like, I used to have jelly quite a lot when I was a kid.
But I think obviously he's expecting some sort of kind of money. Do you know what I mean? Like, so
this much,
he makes a mistake, obviously, of kind of telling people what he plans on doing with the money. Do you know what I mean? So
because there was a scene just before that. Oh no, it's when he's opening the letter, isn't it? He starts like revealing his plan and what he's done and things like that. And this is where things start to continue to go south, doesn't it?
Aye.
They find a squirrel. Yeah, this is weird. They all just like freak out about this squirrel, but we've got squirrels that live in our garden, and they're just like, chill with you guys.
Before the squirrel appears, though, because his uncle Larry or something like that burned down the tree.
Aye.
He goes like, "Hey, you're not doing anything constructive around there. Get in there and bring me a stogie."
He kept smoking near the tree all the time, didn't he?
Aye. So eventually he lights up at the tree, and there's the gas line, isn't it, though, for the RV before it? Because he's outside.
Yeah.
What happens, isn't it? Then he obviously that sets the tree alight, and then he goes into the living room, and he's sitting there he's standing there with a cigar by the trees, and he's obviously it's going. Or you can see the twigs to it, and he's like, "What the hell's the matter with you?" And he obviously turns around the tree, and he's got the he's on fire. I think his name's Larry. Actually, Larry's on fire.
See the guy with the toupee?
Aye.
Yeah.
Aye.
Because there's like later guests arrive, isn't there? There's the auntie or something that's losing her memory a wee bit, and she's the one that puts the cat in the box.
Aye.
So they said she just like randomly wraps up things from the house and puts them in there.
Aye.
And it's the cat that's in the box. Once it gets let loose, it also gets what's the best? Cremated, I suppose, at the Christmas tree with another explosion.
Aye. What was your take on that then, mate? The fact that it met its demise.
Well, generally speaking, I hate in horror movies when something happens to any animal, but obviously I'm a cat guy, so I hate when that happens. There's like a horror film I watched. Was it one of the ones we reviewed? There was a horror film where something happened to a cat anyway, and I didn't like it.
Alien, I had a cat in it.
It may have been.
What did I about?
But I didn't actually mind this one that bad because, as described, it's not like gory or anything. It's cartoonish, isn't it? It's just like it just goes up in flames. Then there's just like an outline left. So I didn't really mind this one because you don't actually see any real like violence. It's just like a bit, isn't it?
You do hear the noise of the cat, don't you? When he puts the plug back in, he gets electrocuted. So you do hear that noise, but
the whole film's just like light-hearted chaos. Do you know what I mean? It's not.
Aye.
It's not one that you would really get that up or down about.
Aye. But it's when they go and get the tree outside, because obviously Clark's still a wee bit annoyed. Well, he's very annoyed actually the fact that he's not got a bonus. So he gets a chainsaw and he starts chainsawing down the tree from outside. That tree then goes through the neighbour's window. We've got the Clark who just takes the chainsaw to the top of the banister and he stairs as well because it was a wee bit kind of shaky, a wee bit loose. So it's kind of he's got a bit kind of fixing things with his chainsaw in a way. And then when they put the tree was done up in no time, by the way, the lights and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? That was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And then they hear a noise. It's a squirrel. It's in the tree, and it kind of comes out and causes chaos. But you're right, mate. Like it's as if they've never seen a squirrel before.
I know.
It's kind of chasing about the place. You know what I mean?
Squirrels are pretty chill. It's when the dog gets involved. Because then does the neighbor not come to the door at that point, and she gets like attacked by the squirrel and the dog?
Aye, because I can relate to that. Because the squirrel is up. Like my garden all the time. There's a squirrel in it, and my dog will just go and just bark like crazy. And he'll try and chase it. But you still have no chance of chasing it or catching it even. So dogs will just go mental for that, and then he's chasing about the house. There's like dog shape kind of on the doors. Obviously, the dogs went through the door and all that. There's like it holds the door and all sorts. It's just mental, so it is. And then the spills on the back of Clark and running up down the stairs. Eventually, the neighbour chaps the door. Clark opens it, and then the squirrel jumps on the neighbour, and then so does the dog. And then you see her going back to her own apartment, her own house. And she just punches her husband or partner or whatever.
I think their relationship had been deteriorating throughout the film because they were like arguing over how the previous window incidents had occurred, and she seems pretty annoyed at him.
I think, to be fair, it's a bit of a wallop, to be honest with you, because she said to him, go in there and talk to him. Oh, she said because I'll hit him or beat him up or whatever. He's like, no, I'm not beating him up for something. But she ended up having to do it because she just obviously punched him because she ended up getting attacked with a dog and a squirrel. Do you know what I mean? But just go and chat with the guy's door. Do you know what I mean? Keep doing the noise, whatever, or
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just that. So she was obviously frustrated at that and just punched him. And that was the last we saw him, I think.
No, we see them again when the police arrive.
Oh, I saw it there, mate. Aye, because that's right, mate. Right.
So obviously Clark finds out he's not getting the bonus, and he has his big his big Phil Mills rant, doesn't he?
Say again.
He has his huge rant, doesn't he, about when he finds out he's not getting his bonus.
Aye, so this is the bit where he's in like he ad libbed most of this stuff and we could keep a straight face, but he's a couple of sweary words in there, mate, which made me question it was a 12A. And then he says at the very end, I don't know the full quote, but at the very end it says he wants him wrapped up in a chair or something like that here with a red bow or something on him, and then you see the glint in Eddie's eye. He's like, okay. Then we just see the RV going skipping away. That was hilarious, man.
Something I liked was how they showed the time passing, the use of like the advent calendar to show
Yes.
like how it was progressing through the period.
That was good. I liked it as well.
We did mention the dinner scene, so he's like carving the turkey, but just like basically just like air comes out of it.
That was horrible looking, man, wasn't it? And then you can see them eating it, and it's like you're punching and all that sort of stuff.
And that was the bit where the dog had like ravished the bin in the living room as well.
Something I found interesting from that scene as well is no one was talking during it. It was just everybody was eating and concentrating. Nobody was talking, which I found a bit odd. Because like you compare it to like rather than growing up, it would always be like all the folk talking and laughing, joking, and all that sort of stuff. But it was just serious. But they'd done all that beforehand, and then you get this scene where they're just kind of obviously passing them the food to Alan. You get cousin Eddie, who's like I think it's like totties or something like that he's eating, but he's got a big spoon and he's eating it with a spoon and putting it back in the bowl and passing it along and all that sort of stuff. And it shows you the different types of people who belong in the family, I suppose, doesn't it?
Yeah. So they're kind of getting towards Christmas now, aren't they? And there's quite a nice moment between Clark and his dad where he asks his dad if he's going to read the night before Christmas, which instantly reminded me of my favourite Christmas film, which we reviewed last year, which is the Santa Claus, where they've got the rose such a clatter line. So he says, no, it's Clark's turn to read it. So he's reading the book, he's getting into it, the kids are enjoying it, the adults are enjoying it too. But then he just kind of looks out the window and he's like, Eddie? And a man that's tied up. It's just Eddie's went and kidnapped his boss and he's in his PJs.
Aye, it was well, you could tell he was only going to do it anyway because you seen the RV going,
Disappears, yeah.
and the glint in his eyes. I mean, you know how he knows where he stays and things. I don't know, but he got there anyway, and then Clark had did all that for them, and then that's just his present to him. But in a way, if it wasn't for cousin Eddie, he wouldn't have got his bonus and stuff like that because he brought him in to realise how much families depend on that money. Do you know what I mean? And I made him realise that because he was, scraping, scrounging. Because he was the kind of the modern day Scrooge, I suppose, at that point in time, wasn't he? He kind of depicted Scrooge.
He Eddie just didn't really think anything of what he'd done, did he?
Nah, he's like I say, but he's. I think there's a quote in that bit. He says his heart's bigger than his brain.
Yeah,
and that's the quote he used, and he goes, "Oh, thank you for that. Thanks for the compliment." Which is true because he doesn't really think anything through. He's quite reactive to things, and doing that is a gesture because that's what he wanted. Generally, he took it at face value. That's what he wanted for Christmas, and he got him it. You know what I mean? It's something he could deliver to him. Other than the bunch of dog meat that he had, or the dog food he had in his trolley in the supermarket. So that was, but it made him realise, didn't it? Like why he was kidnapped and things, and he was going to take all the blame for it and things, and it made him realise that like Christmas means more to people than to him. I actually found that way to seem quite nice, even though he was kidnapped and stuff. He kind of realised that what it really meant to people.
Yeah, and it was his wife that kind of called in the police. So a wee bit later on, you see the police arriving, but it's quite a funny scene, isn't it? So the police, they jump in through like the upper windows and stuff, don't they? But they also, I don't know why they go into the neighbour's house.
They jump into the neighbour's house. He goes, "If
You
you
know
want
they
in
got-
here, you got to break down the door." And they break down the door, and they kind of go each side, didn't they? But I don't know why he would be doing that. It's probably just
like a SWAT team, isn't it? The way they like jump in and land, and they're all like surrounding them. And I don't know what they were about to do to them all, but the kind of police chief essentially arrives and they explain the situation, and it's quite funny because when they find out why he was abducted, he's like, "Oh, if I had a rope, I'd hit you," that kind of thing, or something like that.
If I had a rubber rope, I'd be hitting you or something like that. Yes, what he said.
As you said, the manager guy realizes he's in the wrong. His wife's also raging at him when she finds out. And then he agrees to give Clark his bonus plus an extra 20%, I think it was.
Aye.
So he gets a bonus on top of his bonus.
That's why he kind of faints, didn't he? Because that's like we don't know how much he got before. They didn't tell us. But obviously it must be quite a sizable chunk, the fact that he gets that plus 20%, you know what I mean? So
we haven't really touched on what his job is. He designs like, at first I thought it was food items, but is it like kitchen utensils or something? It wasn't quite clear what he actually did for a living.
I'm going to look this up. I don't actually know, actually. I can't think yet. Did you say kitchen items, aye?
He talks about it a wee bit at the start, but it's not like a massive plot point.
I don't know. It says he's a chemical engineer on Google, man. I don't think he is. Must be a different form. Anyway, it doesn't look like a
chemical engineer at a food company produces a new type of non-toxic cereal or something. I don't know.
And it says he's a product manager. It's quite vague. There's a lot of ambiguity around this.
Yeah, mate, it's not that important, really, is it?
Nah, no.
So yeah, he gets that. There's a few funny bits in that scene because the two wives, like the boss's wife and Clark's wife, they like awkwardly shake hands like during the like she's like really polite and like essentially welcomes her to the house. And there was a line about it being their first kidnapping or something. This family's first kidnapping.
Aye. Yeah, because they're all told to freeze, and then when they go to, like, Clark goes to talk, and he goes, I said freeze. And then, because they're still in that kind of stasis, it's like, welcome to the house type thing, and that is quite funny. It's all been a misunderstanding. What do you mean a misunderstanding? You've been kidnapped. You remember, right? Yeah, 'cause I remember I told you about that I was going to cancel the bonuses and stuff. Well, so you didn't do that, did you? Even the wife was disappointed in him as well. Do you know what I mean? The fact that he did that.
There's a bit when they freeze where Ellen, Clark's wife, like grabs him in a certain place, and she does it more than once.
Ah, sorry.
So apparently the actress Beverly D'Angelo, she just kind of improvised that in the moment,
Did you?
which is
She's also,
a wee bit questionable, but
I mean, that's that's not her first Christmas film either. She was the mother in Violet Night as well.
Was she?
Aye,
Oh, I thought I recognised her.
aye. She was the mother in Violet Night.
It's funny because I was actually thinking about that film. It's got not similarities to this one, but just in terms of the wackiness. But when we get to doing our rankings, I'm going to allude back to that.
All right.
So he gets his bonus, doesn't he? And it's like a nice happy ending. They're going to get their swimming pool, but I thought the way they ended the film was quite creative because see when he's basically saying like I've done it, I've achieved my goal essentially, and he's also realizing, as you said earlier, that having everyone together is like the end goal. See when it says like the end up in the sky, and then the lights stopped working. It was just really like symbolic of the struggles he had earlier on with the lights as well.
I know. That was the whole ending of the film was like what you're saying there as well. But even when they're outside and we've got the guy with the cigar again, you know, he lights his cigar up and tosses the match away and he blows up. And you know, and the Santa sleigh in the air. Before that, we see the shooting star in the sky and that kind of Christmassy kind of moment where the kid wants to believe in Santa Claus and all that sort of stuff. And you just kind of get that kind of like obviously really he's exhausted, but he's that kind of reward at the end of it. He's like genuinely like he's done it now. You know what I mean? That he's happy. He's got his bonus, but really what he has done is created what's probably a memorable Christmas. Because if you relate back to the attic scene, where he gets trapped in the attic. I can't remember what he was looking for now, to be honest with you, but he was trapped in the attic anyway. And then he finds the old tapes and he watches them. He's no other choice because obviously he's trapped in there. You can see he's almost how emotional he is because he's got tears in his eyes, like thinking back to when he was a boy growing up for Christmas. And then that's the Christmas that he wants to create for his own family, even though it would be different in terms of like structurally and all that sort of stuff and how chaotic it would be. But he just remembers the happier times. And that's what he ended up creating. He created what's called a memorable Christmas. Do you know what I mean? Like for him, you'll never forget that now. So
yeah, I forgot to mention that scene because it's also got where he keeps getting hit in the face with the planks of wood.
That's funny, aye.
I laughed out loud when he was like downstairs and the ladder smacked him on the head.
Aye, that was good. And then he had to be sitting on the door of the attic as well. So when his wife pulls down the chain, he falls through it at the end to let himself out.
It's quite Is it interesting because although it is just over an hour and a half, there's a lot packed in, isn't there, in terms of quotes, gags, storylines, all that kind of stuff.
I was thinking that myself, mate, when I was kind of doing my notes and stuff on it, because it's like there's a lot of happening. There's no like dead air at all. There's always something happening. There's always quotes getting about. Even the bit where we've got Eddie in the living room and he's talking to he's drinking eggnog and then he's knocking down stuff. It's like ornaments on the tables and stuff like that. There's like every wee bit leads itself to the next wee bit about how chaotic it can be. So it's a lot, and like you say, quotes, scenes, and funny things as well. It seems like the film's actually longer than it actually was.
Yeah. You ever had eggnog before?
No, mate, it's something I've not tried. Have you?
No, I was talking about this when I was watching it. Never had it before.
Sounds bogging, mate.
More of an
Is it just
American
one egg?
tradition, would you say?
What?
Is it more of an American tradition?
I think so, mate. I would say so.
Do you ever find a lot of the Christmas traditions get a wee bit muddled because we've grown up watching so many American Christmas movies?
I don't know.
I'd say most popular. I can't really think of any like British Christmas movies. Can you? I think they're all American.
Click and
Quite like
Collect. That's
Home Alone, Santa Claus. They're all American.
Click and Collect is a British film. With Stephen Merchant in it. I don't know, mate. I would think about that. Suppose if you count Love
Mostly
Actually.
American anyway. The popular ones, obviously.
Love Actually, is that the one you want to watch into it? You count that?
And is it The Holiday? That's kind of half in Britain and half in America.
What's that one again?
It's the one with Kate Winslet and Jude Law.
Oh, mate. I think I've seen that one.
It's kind of half in America, half in Britain. So,
All right. A half a
yeah,
British film. Half a British film, then.
Was that?
Oh, it's a half a British film, then.
Yeah. 0.5. Right, well, that kind of brings to a close our review of National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, which is kicking off our Christmas period. So, just to flag up to our listeners, other Christmas classics from years gone by. So, we can go one at a time. So, we've done Elf. What ones have we done, James?
Put the cookie down. Jingle all the way.
Jingle all the way. We've done Violent Night last year.
Violent Night. Well, we've done Santa Claus as well.
Yeah. Me and Paul did Home Alone 1 back in the day.
You and Paul also did Die Hard back in the day as well.
Die Hard 1 and 2, yeah. What else have we done? We did the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas special.
God, that is.
Trying to think if there's any other ones we did. There probably is.
I can't remember now. Doesn't seem like a lot though.
Also, no, there will be other ones.
Doesn't seem like a lot.
We usually do a few a year, so we'll see what your kind of thoughts on that. But we're just getting ahead of ourselves a wee bit there. So, go on to our seismic. Well, I put a message out on Twitter. A few people liked and retweeted the post, so thank you to the people that did that. No comments though, so it'd be good in future to see some comments so we can share them on the podcast. So yeah, we are currently sitting on 219 subscribers, and we'd set ourselves a target of reaching 225 by the end of this year. So if you've listened to this or if you've listened to previous episodes, we'd greatly appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button and also hit the like button, because it doesn't hurt. And if you've got a wee comment you want to share about the episode or this movie, then hit us up. Okay, James, we're on to our segment we call our Seismic Stars, which is where we give our movie a rating out of 10. We're not comparing it to any other films. We're just rating this movie on its own merit. So what would you give this movie out of 10?
I'll give it a 7 out of 10.
7?
I quite enjoyed it, mate. It was like I say, it was not too serious, but I still enjoyed the kind of the serious kind of undertones of the whole film about consumerism and burdens of people and that. So it was good that it showed that in a kind of humorous fashion. Again, some of the scenes were, well, most of the scenes were really funny actually. I thought the acting was, I think Chevy Chase was good in it. He kind of, like, in terms of his acting ability, he brought some seriousness, but he, again, was funny during it. I thought even the Waynes doing their part as well. Do you know what I mean? Like the acting as well. I think they were really good as well. Aye, I quite enjoyed it. I like I just the whole kind of Christmas feel to it. Do you know what I mean? When I watched it, it kind of reminded me of like kind of me growing up and stuff as well. Do you know what I mean? With the kind of family I'd been and having to go to different places and stuff like that. Do you know what I mean? Like it'd be chaotic. It would be the bickering would happen, and all I wanted the day was just sit in the room and play FIFA. Do you know what I mean? It does kind of bring those memories back for me. It kind of reminds me as well a wee bit like I said this like about my dad and that as well. Like he would never do the stuff that he would do. Like he would never put lights in the house or anything like that or anything like that. But it's just what Christmas meant to him, and I think that for me is the main thing. Like for him, Christmas meant everything to make his family, happy and things like that. And for me, that was just kind of that showed through the film. You know what I mean? So, amongst that and about all the kind of funny quotes there is, and we've discussed them before already. I'm going to get a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a good light-hearted watch, isn't it? And I did generally laugh quite a lot at it. I didn't have a clue what to expect going in. I didn't really even know what the film was about. Never mind the tone. So I think it did take me a wee bit of time to get used to it and also work out what the main point of the film was, because I felt for like the first half it's just kind of going along. There's funny set pieces. I think maybe not until Eddie arrives you start to see that it's about the importance of the money. It's important, like helping each other, like supporting each other through the time. And so I'm going to give it a 7.5 because I don't think it's quite like an 8, 9, or a 10. It's a different genre from like the Santa Claus Jingle All the Way, like my kind of favorite Christmas films, but I think it's still got plenty to it. So I'll give it a 7.5.
No, that's good, mate. You've kind of went
Okay.
alongside the IMDb then, haven't you, mate? You've done it that way.
Yeah, but I think even if I hadn't looked at that, I think I probably would have put it around about the 7s because I think a 5 and a 6 would have been harsh because I did enjoy it.
Aye,
But I don't think it's
100%.
quite at an 8 or a 9. So I think 7.5 seems pretty fair. It's actually ranked number 8 on IMDb in terms of like the all-time Christmas movies. So it is one that's quite highly regarded.
Aye, I would say so. Do you know what I mean? It's definitely up there.
Okay, so James, before you give me any of your potential options for next week, I'm going to continue a segment I've started, which was potential titles for this episode. Okay, so they're all going to start with National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, but then there'll be a colon followed by another bit because I think it's important to keep the title of the movie in there for the algorithm. The first option is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, The Light, The Tree, The Tantrums. Option number 2 is National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, Cousin Eddie Steals Christmas. And then the last one is Bonus Driven Mayhem. Is there one there that you particularly like? I think I might have an idea.
I like 1 and 2, mate, to be honest with you. I'll go with number 2, though. Cousin Eddie Steals Christmas.
Right, we'll go with that then.
Aye.
For our title. I'm quite enjoying having more creative titles rather than just National Lampoon Review. Apparently, the algorithm is favourable towards things with more kind of enticing titles.
Aye. Fair dues, mate. Fair dues.
Okay, so I'm just wondering if you don't, no pressure, if you had any thoughts on what was coming up next for Seismic Cinema, because just for a peek behind the curtain, listeners, we don't know what the other person's going to say at this point. It'll be a complete surprise to me.
Right, okay then. So I think I'm only going to go with one film, mate, this week. And I'm going to give you the synopsis of the film. Right, so I know I've changed it here a wee bit. I'm just going to go one film. Just one film. So there'll be no choices in this, so I do apologise. But it's one film. And I'm going to give you the synopsis of it. Are you ready, Colin?
Yep.
Right, okay. A young airline security guard is blackmailed by a mysterious passenger who threatens to smuggle a dangerous package onto a plane on Christmas
Oh, I
Eve.
know what this is. I watched it last year.
And the film is...
Oh, I've watched it. It's Taron Egerton, isn't it?
That's right, aye.
But I can't remember what it's called. I did watch it last year, though.
It's called
What's it called?
Carry On.
Yes. Yeah, I did watch that last year. I think I maybe mentioned it at the time.
Yeah, so that'll be the film that we'll watch this week and we'll review next week.
That's an easy one for me because I've already watched it then.
Aye, well, it's fine, mate. What we'll do...
I don't know if
so,
this will come. Sorry, I don't know if this will come to pass, but I really do want to do It's a Wonderful Life at some point. Whether that's this year or next year, I think that's one we should definitely do at some point.
that was actually referenced in the film, mate. So it was.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's got the ending of this one's got similarities to that. See, like the happy resolution with the bonus. I think it's got its similarities with It's a Wonderful Life, which I watched for the first time last year, actually.
Every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings. Anyway,
it's one of those ones that takes you well. Right. Is there anything else you'd like to add before we finish up?
No, mate, I'm good.
Well done for getting through it when you've not been feeling 100%.
Aye, I've struggled, mate. Well, it's not been that bad, mate, but you probably hear it in me anyway, you know what I mean? But what's the Police Academy sitting at?
Police Academy.
Missed that segment out, mate.
Police Academy is sitting at... I can't remember, we did that a while ago now, actually. For context, Police Academy is our most successful video ever, and it just continues to grow. It's at 5.9 thousand, so almost at 6,000, and the Ring's at 2.6 thousand.
So the Ring's kind of fell off a wee bit, but Police Academy keeps on going. So that's thank you for those who are watching Police Academy. We do appreciate that.
Yep. Okay, so just a wee reminder that where you can find Seismic Cinema on social media. So please give us a follow, drop us a message if there's any movies or shows you want us to review. You can also find us on YouTube, Spotify, and all the other platforms. So please give us a follow or a subscribe and get involved. And a big shout out to the Pod Pack Collective and also our friends at What's the Script as well. Okay, so next time, as you said, we'll be reviewing Carry On. And I'm sure we'll have a good carry on when we're doing that. So I'm Colin. I've usually not seen it. Paul, our editor, has watched it in the wrong order.
And I'm James, and I've probably written an essay on it.